The Situation Conference at Army Group South Headquarters in Stalino on November 23, 1942, convened under circumstances that Field Marshal Erich von Manstein recognized represented strategic catastrophe. The reports arriving from Sixth Army at Stalingrad documented that Soviet forces had completed encirclement trapping over 200,000 German and Allied troops in pocket that was shrinking under pressure from converging Soviet attacks. Von Manstein had been summoned from 11th Army to assume command of the newly formed Army Group Don, with mission to restore situation that intelligence summaries indicated was rapidly deteriorating beyond recovery. The operational concept that had driven Case Blue through summer and autumn, the offensive toward Caucasus oil fields while simultaneously securing flank along Volga River, had produced overextension that Soviet counteroffensive exploited with devastating effectiveness. General Kurt Zeitzler, chief of the Army General Staff, had arrived from East Prussia to brief field commanders on Hitler's intentions regarding Sixth Army's encirclement. Zeitzler presented the directive that Sixth Army would hold positions at Stalingrad and would be supplied by air until relief operation could break through Soviet lines. The assembled commanders listened with professional skepticism because the supply requirements exceeded Luftwaffe capacity by factors that made the promise unrealistic. Field Marshal Wolfram von Richthofen, commanding Luftflotte 4, provided assessment that transporting 500 tons daily to Stalingrad would require sortie rates impossible to sustain given weather conditions, Soviet air defenses, and available aircraft. The gap between Hitler's directive and operational reality created immediate tension between political requirements and military capabilities. General Friedrich Paulus commanded Sixth Army trapped at Stalingrad and participated in the conference via radio communication that was intermittent due to Soviet jamming. Paulus reported that his forces held perimeter approximately 50 kilometers wide, but that ammunition and fuel stocks were declining and that rations were being reduced. The request for authorization to attempt breakout westward toward German positions was denied by directive from Hitler transmitted through Zeitzler. The order to hold Stalingrad regardless of encirclement reflected strategic calculation that abandoning the city would constitute political defeat that outweighed military logic of preserving forces through withdrawal. Colonel Wilhelm Adam served as Paulus's adjutant and maintained the war diary documenting Sixth Army's situation through the encirclement. Adams' entries from late November recorded deteriorating conditions with clinical precision that contrasted with optimistic assessments being provided to higher command. The daily reports documented declining rations, increasing casualties from cold and malnutrition, and ammunition expenditures that exceeded resupply deliveries. The disconnect between Adams' factual reporting and the assessments reaching Hitler illustrated how information was filtered through command layers in ways that obscured realities. General Hans Hube commanded 14th Panzer Corps within the Stalingrad pocket and represented faction among Sixth Army commanders who believed that breakout remained militarily feasible if authorized quickly. Hube argued that forces retained sufficient mobility to fight westward if fuel could be concentrated and if timing was coordinated with external relief effort. The assessment was based on recognition that Soviet encirclement forces were not uniformly strong and that gaps existed that could be exploited by coordinated attack. The professional military judgment that breakout offered better survival prospect than static defense in pocket was overruled by political decision to hold Stalingrad. General Hermann Hoth commanded 4th Panzer Army, tasked with conducting relief operation towards Stalingrad from positions southwest of the encirclement. Hoth's forces included 57th Panzer Corps with divisions transferred from Army Group Center and from Germany. The operational plan, designated Winter Storm, required 4th Panzer Army to advance approximately 100 kilometers through Soviet defensive positions to reach 6th Army perimeter. Hoth understood that success depended on Sixth Army simultaneously attacking southward to reduce distance relief forces needed to cover. The requirement for coordination between relief effort and breakout attempt created operational complexity that would prove decisive. The supply situation that governed all planning was quantified in briefings that documented Sixth Army required minimum 300 tons daily to sustain defensive operations. The Luftwaffe transport fleet, consisting primarily of Ju-52 aircraft, could theoretically deliver this tonnage if weather permitted continuous operations and if losses remained minimal. The reality through late November and December was that weather-limited flying days, Soviet fighters and anti-aircraft fire destroyed transport aircraft at unsustainable rates, and delivery totals averaged 150 tons daily. The cumulative shortfall meant Sixth Army was consuming stockpiles without replacement and was gradually losing combat capability. Major Joachim Stempel commanded transport squadron operating supply flights into Stalingrad and maintained logs documenting the operational difficulties. The weather reports from Pitomnik and Gumrak airfields inside Pocket indicated conditions that prevented flying on perhaps half the days in December. The Soviet fighter presence required transport aircraft to fly at altitudes and routes that reduced payload and increased fuel consumption. The losses to enemy action and to accidents averaged approximately 10 aircraft daily, representing attrition rate that would eliminate transport fleet within months. Stempel's professional assessment, communicated to higher command, was that sustained airlift was impossible under existing conditions. General Maximilian von Weichs commanded Army Group B, which had controlled operations along Don River front before creation of Army Group Don under von Manstein. Von Weichs had warned in October that Romanian and Italian Allied armies holding flanks north and south of Stalingrad were inadequately equipped and trained to resist major Soviet attack. The collapse of these Allied armies on November 19th and 20th, when Soviet Operation Uranus began, validated von Weichs's warnings and demonstrated consequences of strategic decisions that allocated scarce German forces to offensive operations while relying on allies for flank security. The conference that von Manstein conducted with Corps commanders on December 8th addressed operational realities of winter storm relief effort. General Erhard Raus commanded 6th Panzer Division leading 57th Panzer Corps advance and reported that Soviet defensive positions were more extensive than intelligence had projected. General Friedrich Kirchner, commanding Leverden Panzer Corps, noted that fuel supplies were barely adequate to reach Stalingrad, even if resistance was lighter than encountered. The discussion revealed that relief operation was consuming resources at rates that could not be sustained and that success required conditions that were not materializing. The advance that 4th Panzer Army achieved through mid-December brought relief forces to within 40 kilometers of Stalingrad Pocket before being halted by Soviet counterattacks and by fuel exhaustion. The decision point that emerged on December 19th was whether Sixth Army should attempt breakout to link with Hoth's forces, or whether relief effort should be reinforced. Von Manstein recommended to Hitler that Sixth Army be authorized to break out, while relief forces were close enough to support the operation. Hitler's refusal to authorize breakout reflected conviction that Stalingrad must be held, and that acknowledging failure there would have political ramifications exceeding military considerations. General Walter von Seydlitz-Kurzbach commanded 51st Corps in northern sector of Stalingrad Pocket and attempted unauthorized withdrawal to create conditions forcing breakout decision. Von Seydlitz ordered his divisions to pull back from forward positions, arguing that concentrating forces was necessary for breakout preparation. Paulus countermanded the orders and reasserted control, but the episode demonstrated that field commanders recognized static defense was unsustainable, and that breakout represented only alternative to eventual destruction. The Soviet offensive launched on December 16th against Italian 8th Army on Middle Don created crisis that diverted resources from Stalingrad relief effort. The collapse of Italian positions threatened to encircle entire Army Group Don and forced von Manstein to commit reserves intended for winter storm to containing breakthrough. The operational reality was that Germany lacked sufficient forces to simultaneously relieve Stalingrad and defend against Soviet offensives along 1,000-kilometer front. The choice between competing priorities resulted in weakening both efforts. The Christmas period brought temperature drops that created additional hardships for Sixth Army defenders lacking winter equipment. The medical reports from Dr. Otto Rinaldi, senior medical officer in Pocket, documented frostbite casualties exceeding combat wounds and described conditions in field hospitals where wounded were dying from cold and malnutrition as much as from injuries. The humanitarian crisis compounded military difficulties and degraded combat effectiveness as soldiers became focused on survival rather than tactical operations. General Arthur Schmidt served as Paulus's chief of staff and maintained communications with Army Group Don, arguing that supplies were inadequate and that Sixth Army could not indefinitely sustain defensive perimeter. Schmidt's assessments were factual, but were countered by directives from Hitler transmitted through OKH, insisting that position must be held. The disconnect between field commanders reporting impossibility and higher command ordering continuation represented fundamental breakdown in military decision-making, where political will overrode operational assessment. The New Year period brought recognition among German commanders that Stalingrad pocket could not be held indefinitely and that Sixth Army would eventually be destroyed. The question became whether final weeks should be spent attempting breakout that might save portion of forces, or whether forces should fight defensive battle that would tie down Soviet armies and prevent their employment elsewhere. The strategic argument for holding pocket was that Soviet forces besieging Stalingrad could not be used in offensives threatening other sectors. The humanitarian and military cost was that 200,000 soldiers would be sacrificed for this strategic benefit. When German generals learned Operation Blue had failed through November and December 1942, they confronted strategic catastrophe that trapped Sixth Army at Stalingrad. That demonstrated overextension of summer offensive, that revealed inadequacy of Allied armies defending flanks, that exposed impossibility of sustained airlift under combat conditions, and that created command crisis where political imperatives prevented military responses that might have preserved forces. Von Manstein's relief effort came within 40 kilometers, but could not complete breakthrough before Soviet counteroffensives forced withdrawal. Paulus's requests for breakout authorization were denied by Hitler's orders to hold regardless of cost. The Luftwaffe's supply effort delivered half required tonnage and suffered unsustainable losses. The winter conditions created humanitarian catastrophe, compounding military defeat. The psychological impact on German commanders was profound, as recognition spread that strategic initiative had been lost, and that Eastern campaign had shifted from offensive-seeking victory to defensive fighting, preventing collapse. The confidence that had characterized planning for Blue in spring 1942 had been based on assumptions that Soviet reserves were depleted and that renewed offensive would achieve objectives before winter. The reality of Soviet counteroffensive capability, demonstrated through Uranus, invalidated these assumptions and forced acknowledgement that Soviet Union retained capacity to conduct major operations despite 18 months of losses. The institutional response within Wehrmacht High Command was to assign blame for Blue's failure to execution problems rather than to strategic conception. The Romanian and Italian armies were criticized for collapsing under Soviet attack. The Luftwaffe was questioned about inability to deliver promised supply tonnage. Sixth Army commanders were scrutinized for tactical decisions. The unwillingness to acknowledge that operational design was fundamentally flawed and that objectives exceeded available resources represented pattern where systemic problems were attributed to subordinate failures rather than to strategic miscalculation. The failure marked transition from offensive operations seeking strategic objectives to defensive fighting attempting to prevent collapse. The recognition that Blue had overreached and that consequences included potential loss of entire army, represented acknowledgement that Eastern Campaign had fundamentally changed from war of movement and encirclement to attritional struggle, where German material limitations prevented sustaining operations against Soviet numerical superiority and improving tactical capabilities.